Virgo, hello, what's up in the world? We're looking at generational cycles. We're looking at generational curses. Some people like to call it that. I tend to say generational cycles because sometimes we are born into a set of circumstances. Whether we think of them as good, bad, in between, and based off of what we are brought into this world and has a really interesting way of shaping us throughout our lives. And so I just felt led to go here, and you are probably a healer or a reader watching me right now. And so, when spirit wants you to talk about a thing, you got to go into it. I don't think I've actually ever done anything like this for the masses or people in the world. And so I'm excited to see how this turns out and to see what spirit is guiding and leading in this moment by doing this type of reading. So how this is done is that I have a placement out here for early childhood. Whatever hard lessons, situations that you had to face and confront that could have been a residual effect of some type of generational cycle, what that was, we'll get some cards out here for that. But I also started off meditating on your energy, and I got some oracle messages out here for each of these stages. The second stage is going to be middle, like teen years, early adulthood. Now, if you are someone who considers yourself to be a young adult right now, this is the period of your life where you feel is the middle point of your life, the lessons that were learned there. So we have a placement out there. But I like to think of it as teenhood years and young adult years, early 20s, between ages of 12 and 22, 25. And then what you're working through now, wherever you are in the world, what opportunities are present for you as you are still in the process of breaking off any cycles or curses off of your life. So that's where we're going. This message is not meant for every Virgo out there. That would be impossible. This message clearly is for whoever it's meant to be for, because again, as I said earlier, when these types of readings just kind of come in as a reader, I just say, okay, God, thank you for using me, and we're going to do it. And so spirit knows who these messages are for, and we just say, thank you, God, and we're going to roll with it. So here we go. So for the childhood years, Virgo, I'm going to start off by sharing these oracle messages with you from the Sacred Symbols deck. I love this deck because it has a spiritual vibe that gives us a lot of room to kind of feel through this energy. Jealousy out here, the number 23, which is a 5 energy. So that tells me as a reader right now that there may have been some jealousy between some siblings or maybe even parent toward you. And then we also have full moon out here, and that basically translates to a number 11, which is a powerful number of I am and self-trust. So I'm going to get some cards out here, but Virgo, just right now, feeling in this energy, it just feels like early on, because of who you are, Virgo, your creativity, your ability to be intuitive, and a lot of Virgos naturally are incredibly clairvoyant, gifted. Virgos usually know who they are in life very early on, and you likely had people around you who, I got a harsh word, so I'm not going to say that, but they wanted to submit you. They wanted you to be in some form of submission to them. And I know that sounds really interesting, but I'm just trying to be obedient here and give it to you how it's coming to me. But for some of you, there may have even been a level of violence in the home. And when it came to you, there was something about your natural self, your natural being, and I'm feeling a lot of emotion, Virgo, as I'm feeling my way around this. Your natural being was so powerful for your young body and your young self. There was someone around you, maybe even a teacher that just came through, a teacher, a mentor, someone who was supposed to be a wise, healthy adult that did not allow there to be room for you to express yourself, but in some way kind of was intimidated by you being your natural, beautiful self, in your gifting, in your talents, in your beauty. Now we're going to get some cards out here to get a little bit clearer about what this was as it relates to you, because I tend to believe that when we come onto the earth plane, incarnated as a human being. There's some type of life lesson. We are unfolding our spirit in some way to help other people, help ourselves, help our spirits evolve. And so in the early childhood, that's when we are confronted with the most interesting things, because we're vulnerable. So we see people for who they really are, right? So it kind of feels like that's an energy that you were walking in as a child. Guide angel spirit guides for Virgo. Why is jealousy and full moon here, guide angel spirit guides, for their early childhood? What kind of lessons were being taught? What was meant to be learned? What was the cycle or curse being broken at this time of childhood? Thank you, guide angel spirit guides, for Virgo, please. Thank you, guide angel spirit guides. Thank you, guide angel spirit guides. Tell us more. Okay. It may have to do with siblings, the jealousy. Maybe you were the middle child. Guide angel spirit guides. What else? Okay. We have the Three of Cups here. This is another kind of moon energy, because it's a Cancer card for me as a reader, and the full moon to me always represents Cancer. So I don't know if, Virgo, there was someone around you who was a Cancer of significance, but this feels like family, siblings, the people who are supposed to bring you joy. And then we have the Knight of Swords out here in reverse. There was some type of sister or sibling, someone in a cousin who was not a loving person. And this person, whoever this was, it could have been someone who was an air sign person. There was a jealousy about you. I think that you represent one of these graces here, right? One of the three holding the cups. Beautiful, fun-loving, creative. Virgo people are amazing people. My supervisor right now, my day work is a Virgo, and I'm so grateful for them. But you have a strength to you. Don't get it twisted. You're not to be, stepped over, pushed over, but you're very wise, and you also have a spiritual merit about you. But something about this vibe from the childhood, Virgo, it feels like you are beautiful, and or you are, obviously you are beautiful now, don't get me wrong, honey, but in your childhood you were a cute child. You were a beautiful kid, and there was some sibling or cousin who had this relentless, hurtful way of interacting with you, harsh words used. The Knight of Swords upright can be a beautiful energy, standing on the right cause, like standing up for yourself, using your words no matter what, standing up for justice. This can be a really wonderful energy, Aquarian energy, but it's in reverse. So this kind of feels like being reckless with you, reckless with their words when it came to you, maybe in some ways body shaming you, making you feel like you weren't intelligent, making you feel like you weren't strong enough. What just came through, and this is very specific, for some of you where you were adopted into the family, they wanted to make you feel bad for not being of the same blood tie in some way. And so there was a jealousy about you being, the child that came into the home at a different time. That's not a bio child. But what this did, and how this relates to generational cycles and curses, is that it began to make you feel like you couldn't be who you needed to be. It made you doubt your natural self, your natural joy, the way that you thought about things, your body, your humor. And I'm also feeling that for some of you, this is a middle child that I'm speaking to as well, where there was a older sibling or a younger sibling that was really harsh and really mean. And maybe in some ways you wanted to live up to their standard. You didn't think of them as being a bully or anything. You probably didn't even know what that was yet. You just thought this was how siblings acted. So you just kind of took the slights. You just took the mean and harsh words and the ruthlessness, not realizing that this person was really trying to tear you down. And what's hard is that when it comes to the family dynamic, through media, books, through society, we are taught to believe that because someone is in our family, that they're supposed to be there to love us no matter what. And if we are bound by blood, that they're wonderful people for us. But that is not true. That is not true at all. Sometimes it's the people who are tied to us by blood that do the most damage to us. Okay, so early on, it kind of felt like you were dealing with that. And I think now, wherever you are, Virgo, you have understanding about what that was back then. But back then, you were just kind of like eating it, and it was shaping you into being someone that is not exactly who you are because of these harsh words. But I want to let you know, maybe you don't know this, but if you had that sibling, you had that person in the house who was harsh with their words, they made you feel uncomfortable about who you were in some way, that was jealousy. And that jealousy was there to stop you from being in your authentic self. The moon is all about true self. The moon is also associated with Cancer. You know, the high priestess is also associated with Cancer. You need to know yourself and be able to trust yourself to hear from divine guidance and wisdom. If you are splintered in any way from yourself, you're going to have a really hard time because other people become your master. You put more trust in other people. So this was all about true self and your authenticity. They kind of remove the innocence from you in some way. I know that's a lot, Virgo. So that's the nature of where we're going. If you're still following, you're still listening to this. Now we're going to go into the middle teen years, young adult years, based on your age and how you identify yourself chronologically. This is the time of your life right after childhood into young adulthood. This is when you start becoming independent and learning the lessons that you need to learn on your own. So in this area of your life, I have shadow out here. And so I'm going to get some cards out here, but it kind of feels like you're now needing to, you're now likely making choices based off of that re-scripted, programmed self that was kind of pushed onto you from whoever this jealous person was. So now you are making decisions and living a lie. Okay, and I say this tenderly because babies are so precious. We know this. Babies are absolutely perfect. But it's the people around the babies who tend to make them feel like they're not exactly as beautiful as they are. And so when we grow up believing that, we then begin to make decisions believing that we're not beautiful, divine, and all of the things that we truly are. So we likely operate in our shadow and out of our shadow. So that was the energy that you were working through on your path to healing, okay? So God, angel, spirit guides, tell us more about these teen years, young adult years related to breaking cycles. Why is shadow out here? Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Why is shadow out here? For breaking this energy, Virgo, off of their life. For Virgo, please, God, angel, spirit guides. Why is shadow here? What were they working through? What were the karmic lessons at this time? Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Why is shadow here? Number 7, so subconscious, again, still needing to get in touch, reunited with true self. Then we have the Queen of Swords here. So it feels like this might be you. By the time you got into your young adult years and your early 20s, maybe mid 20s, by this time you likely were showing up cold. You were showing up cold, not trusting people, not letting people in your gate, because you were experienced. You had experience with people who were cold. Okay, so here you are as a young person, guarding and protecting yourself, maybe a little bit resentful. God, angel, spirit guides, tell us more about why shadow is out here, as well as the Queen of Swords for Virgo. Yeah, you had to become a tough person to protect yourself. But there likely were people around you that could have been trustworthy, but I mean, if your own sibling is dissing you and hurting you, you're not going to really want to trust a stranger in the world. Okay. All right. So some of what you were working through, there's a couple of things that are coming through. For some of you, you had to, and this comes up for different people in this season and stage of life. Our childhood pushes us into some interesting relationships romantically early on, because we're either not clear about what love is, and so we can be in the arms of people who are dangerous. It kind of feels like you had a situation where you moved in something and maybe put your guard down, and you moved into a loving situation. um, you you used your heart, you allowed your heart to be present in this connection, and this person that you were dealing with turned out to not be exactly who they said that they were. Obviously, it happens to many of us. And that also is what contributed to you becoming the person who was like, absolutely not. I will never allow myself to be. It started to create this belief in you that the world was full of people who were ugly and hurtful and harmful. With these cards here, okay? It's almost like you let your guard down for one person, and then they come in and they want to hurt and they want to harm. For some of you, this is very specific. There was someone that you actually began to trust. There was someone that you liked, and they were actually a good person. And for whatever reason, that friendship or that relationship had to come to an end. Maybe they transitioned in life, they moved into the spirit realm, or they moved away, but there was some type of closing of that also may have contributed to you becoming like, you know what, no, I'm not going to let anyone in, kind of harden in some way. But there's something about this season of your life where through that hardness and that harshness and that hard season, it helped you to, it's like it developed grit within you. It made you a survivor. It made you maybe even a hustler, like you know how to go for yours, you know who you are in the world. Because while this can be a dangerous energy to be in, the Queen of Swords in reverse, because it comes out of being in the fire and it's protecting itself, this energy also knows how to survive. It takes the experiences of the past and it heals and it grows. But it also feels like in this season of your life, the shadow that you are working through is becoming, more of like not having heart, not trusting your heart, not wanting to give your heart to anybody, not wanting to be an emotional person. It's all about business. How can I get my money? Is 1 + 1 2 or not? It just became more about impartiality in your life in this early time because you wanted to protect yourself. But I think that in some ways it served you well, but you were able to progress and become successful. Wherever you are, you're probably having some level of success in your life because of these decisions you made during this time. So it catapulted you. But I'm going to go into the present moment. In this moment in your life now, you're probably thinking about, the emotional side of this. Where do I regain my heart? I wasn't able to use my heart as much, and you're probably rectifying that right now. So now what you're going through related to breaking cycles, transmuting energy, healer is out here. And this also feels like right now you have the opportunity to heal. These are wonderful things to see in any kind of progression reading, because if you are operating in the shadow, that's the scary side of you, surviving. You're trying to survive right now, and you're surviving using the weapon side of who you are. But then you also have healer, which means that you are either, again, healing, and beneath the deck, growth. It's growing you. It's for a reason. I just saw this card. Beneath growth is karmic path, and then beneath that is trust. That's powerful. That's very, very powerful. Yeah, so right now in this moment, you are likely taking these experiences from the past, the loss, the heartbreak, the needing to be cold, the survival energy, like the streets are cold, and you understand that, Virgo. You've experienced that side of it because you grew up with people around you who showed you coldness. And so now in your life, you are transmuting that by what it feels like is working with other people, helping other people see it. So God, angel, spirit guys, tell us more about what Virgo is working through now with healer and growth. What is the potential? What cycle is being broken? What cycle are they facing right now? Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Why is healer and growth out here related to breaking cycles? Hard work popped out. New beginning popped out. things working out in your favor, right? There may have been a little bit of loss in the past, and maybe you're able to sit still enough to grieve the things that have happened in the past, the loss. You're regaining the feeling of your heart because maybe you're safe enough to do that right now. But those feel like trailer cards the way that they popped out. So we're going to see what else is out here. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. For Virgo, please. Why is healer and growth here? Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. For Virgo, why is healer and growth here? Anything else? Yeah. Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands. This is excitement. This is a spiritual opportunity. This is healing. This is being able to hear spiritually. But my dear Virgo, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. This popped out in reverse. So it feels like some of you, Virgo, what you're facing right now as you're kind of going through this healing stage, it's a reason for this. You're probably feeling a little bit stressed out. You're feeling a little bit depressed because you still have a distrust of people very deeply with the Five of Swords being out here. There's suspicion about the people around you. There's the devil beneath that card, right? And it kind of feels like there's this energy of kind of feeling stuck in a cycle. It feels like I'm speaking to a Virgo where you are like, I don't know how to get out of the cycle of repeat. I don't really know what to do, but I'm going to get some more cards out here. You're working through that. Not all of you, that's a very specific message, but with that reversal of the Ace of Wands, that is spirit being low. You know, it's like you're in some type of battle with people right now, and it's taking your energy. It's robbing you. It's like you're getting to a place in your life where you're tired of the battle. You're tired of fighting. You're tired of the coldness that maybe that you've had to be to survive people. It could be that you're still operating with or dealing with the same people who kind of had that jealousy for you and toward you when you were a child, Virgo. God, angel, spirit guides. What is the opportunity here in this healer and growth phase? How can they break a cycle? How can they break a cycle, God, angel, spirit guides? How can they break this cycle? For Virgo, please. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. There is potential for you to be vindicated. There is potential for you to have the life that you really want. There's potential here. It's going to take some time and some commitment, though. So there's some type of change that can happen here, but it's going to take some time and it's going to take some commitment. There's a need for confidence to be returned. How to break this is to be confident at this time. The King of Wands is a visionary. It's influential. It's a business person. It's spontaneous. It's fun. It goes after its dreams. It trusts its passion. It trusts its creative abilities, and it draws other people to them. The King of Wands here. So this is confidence. And so with just a moment ago, seeing that Ace of Wands was in reverse, that feels like a lack of confidence. So there needs to be a return of confidence to get you to a place where you can be where you want to be. Now, you might be managing quite a bit right now. This might be a hobby and work. This might be two very important things that you want. And it might be hard for a moment because you have to balance these different things for a while, because this is the long game in terms of this becoming prosperous and abundant for you. But Spirit is nudging me to let you know that if you follow the course and you trust yourself in this process and you stay in a place of believing in yourself and whatever this is that you're doing, there is a return of joy. This is the 10 of Cups. This is love, life, business, and feeling like everything that you want in terms of the return of joy and love is here. It's available to you. but it kind of feels like there needs to be a commitment to this healing. It needs to be a commitment to change. Whatever you're balancing right now, knowing that you can do it, trust that you can do it, and keep on the course going in the direction that you want to go into. I'm going to now get some Archangel Michael cards out here, and then I'm going to close the reading with that. So I love to end with this because the Archangel messages come out with different prayers that we can pray, working through different energies. So God, angel, spirit guides, for my lovely Virgo here, what messages do you want Virgo to have to close up this? This is so beautiful. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. You're going to love this. One more, please. Okay. Don't stop. That's this right here. Now, this night is so slow. Okay, Virgo. It takes forever. Okay, but you know about earth stuff. You are an earth sign. This is more of the Taurus earth sign energy. It takes forever, but it takes a long time because it is bound for success. It knows what it's doing here. Don't stop. You are ready. Okay, if there's been something that you've been gearing up to do, some type of battle, the return of love, an action that you need to take, maybe going to therapy is what's coming up, or re-engaging your friendships in a certain way, or something that it feels like healing, something that is calling you to take a step in this direction. You were frightened about that in the past. You're ready. It's time. This is how you begin to break this cycle off of your experience and have the joy that you really desire and are deserving of. Virgo, that's really important. You are deserving of joy. You were put here on this earth to be prosperous and to evolve and to be well. That's the whole reason why we are here. And when we are not experiencing that, it's not a question of, did you make a mistake by bringing me here, spirit, or whatever you hold near. It's, what am I not understanding? What am I holding on to that needs to be removed? Where do I need to go? Because I know that my purpose here is to be well and to prosper in all things. So another card that you have out here is ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. The prayer is, Archangel Michael, thank you for assisting me with the situation, whatever that is. Please help me be filled with faith and peace at all times. Here's the next one. You created the situation and you have the power to change it. Thank you for letting me lean on your strength and for reminding me of my personal power. Please guide me to manifest and heal according to divine will, creating peace and blessings for everyone involved. It's a time for healing. The things that happened to you in your childhood and in your teen, young adulthood, that's not your fault. Those things should have never happened to you, but here you are standing strong, having an opportunity to turn this around and make your life your own. I love you, Virgo, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.